The geopolitical landscape of Europe is once again in flux, as US President Donald Trump will withdraw 35,000 troops from Germany and redeploy them to Hungary. This move has sent ripples across NATO, the European Union, and transatlantic relations. While Trump's policy shift aims to address concerns over burden sharing within NATO and European military spending, it has triggered strong reactions from both allies and adversaries. Since his first term in office, Trump has criticized NATO allies for failing to meet their defense spending commitments. The long-standing 2% GDP defense expenditure goal, agreed upon by NATO members, has been inconsistently met, with Germany in particular falling short of expectations. Trump argues that the United States should not bear a disproportionate burden in maintaining European security, especially when some of America's wealthiest allies are underinvesting in their own defense. By shifting troops from Germany to Hungary, Trump signals a shift in alliance priorities. Hungary, under Prime Minister Viktor Orban, has maintained stronger defense spending compared to other European nations, and has positioned itself as a more reliable partner in Trump's view. This move also aligns with Trump's broader foreign policy approach, favoring bilateral deals over multilateral commitments and rewarding allies that align more closely with his administration's stance. Unsurprisingly, the proposal to withdraw troops from Germany has met significant opposition from Berlin. Germany has been home to U.S. military personnel since the end of the Second World War, serving as a strategic hub for NATO operations, particularly concerning Russia and Eastern Europe. The removal of these forces could weaken NATO's deterrence capabilities, particularly in light of Russian aggression in Ukraine. German officials expressed deep concerns over the withdrawal decision, arguing that the presence of U.S. forces is a crucial component of European security. Other European leaders share similar fears, as many see U.S. military presence as a stabilizing factor, not just in Germany but across the continent. This shift also raises questions about the reliability of U.S. commitments to European security. If Washington is willing to withdraw forces from one of its closest allies, could similar decisions follow regarding U.S. support for NATO as a whole? The uncertainty has pushed European countries to reconsider their defense policies and seek greater self-reliance. Hungary, while a NATO member, has often pursued policies that diverge from mainstream European positions, particularly concerning Russia. Prime Minister Viktor Orban has maintained a relatively close relationship with Moscow and has frequently criticized EU policies that he sees as undermining national sovereignty. The idea of hosting a large contingent of U.S. troops in Hungary presents a paradox. On one hand, it aligns with Hungary's commitment to NATO, showcasing Budapest's willingness to support the alliance's military structure. On the other hand, Hungary's ties with Russia complicate its position. Some analysts worry that basing U.S. forces in Hungary could create geopolitical contradictions, especially if Hungary continues its policy of balancing relations between NATO and Moscow. Orban himself has welcomed Trump's proposal, viewing it as an opportunity to strengthen bilateral ties with the U.S. However, within the EU, the move could further isolate Hungary, as other member states perceive it as an outlier in the bloc's security and foreign policy consensus. NATO's leadership has reacted cautiously to the proposed troop shift. The officials have emphasized the importance of unity within the alliance, arguing that any realignment should be carefully coordinated to maintain NATO's operational effectiveness. Several NATO allies have voiced concerns over the implications of a U.S. pivot away from Germany. Poland has advocated for stronger U.S. military engagement in the region, demanding that they were ready to host the U.S. soldiers if needed. At the same time, Trump's move underscores deeper divisions within NATO. While some allies support increased European military spending, others worry that a U.S. retrenchment could signal a broader disengagement from European affairs. Given the ongoing war in Ukraine and rising tensions with Russia, many European leaders argue that now is not the time to weaken transatlantic security commitments. Beyond political leaders, Trump's proposal has sparked significant debate among European citizens. In 2020, German public opinion was largely supporting the withdrawal of U.S. forces, with some viewing the American military presence as essential to national and regional security. Meanwhile, in countries like Sweden, public sentiment has taken a different turn. A growing movement advocating for the boycott of U.S. goods has emerged in response to what many perceive as an abandonment of Europe by the Trump administration. The shift in U.S. policy is fueling broader anti-American sentiment, particularly among younger Europeans who see it as a betrayal of post-World War alliances. In Hungary, public opinion is mixed. While Orbán's supporters welcome the potential economic and strategic benefits of hosting U.S. troops, opposition voices raise concerns about the country becoming too closely entangled in great power politics. Trump's approach represents a fundamental reassessment of the U.S.-Europe security relationship. While the U.S. remains NATO's most powerful member, its willingness to alter traditional commitments has forced European nations to reconsider their strategic options. Several European states have ramped up discussions on the need for greater military autonomy. French President Emmanuel Macron has long advocated for an independent European defense strategy, and Trump's actions may provide further impetus for such efforts. The European Union is already taking steps to enhance its military capabilities. Recent proposals include increased defense spending, the creation of a European defense fund, and discussions about a more unified military command structure. While these efforts are still in their early stages, the trajectory suggests that Europe is preparing for a future where U.S. support may not be as guaranteed as it once was. Trump's proposed security shift is more than just a realignment of troop deployments. It represents a significant recalibration of transatlantic relations. While the move aligns with his long-standing grievances about NATO burden sharing, it risks undermining trust among European allies at a time of heightened geopolitical tensions. For Germany, the withdrawal of U.S. troops signals a potential weakening of NATO's eastern defenses. For Hungary, it offers an opportunity to deepen ties with the U.S., but at the cost of greater scrutiny within the EU. Meanwhile, the broader European reaction suggests a growing push for strategic independence, with nations seeking to reduce their reliance on Washington. Ultimately, whether this policy strengthens or weakens U.S. global influence will depend on its execution. If European nations respond by bolstering their own military capabilities, NATO could emerge stronger. However, if the move leads to fragmentation and uncertainty, it could embolden adversaries and weaken the collective security framework that has underpinned European stability for decades. As the world watches this strategic shift unfold, the decisions made in the coming months will shape the future of transatlantic security for years to come. At the end, the Western world seems to produce a countermeasure to avoid such a situation in the future. The U.S.-Europe relations will create a new dynamic for the world, breaking the traditional norms of defense.